Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen.
You did that thing that I do to you sometimes. That was good fun. I'm excited for this one. I'm excited for the very next screen. I think it is. But anyway, we'll get to it when we get there. We're going to be doing a thing. Point is, we're at the front of the Golden Land, and Lambda's helping us out, and Anjay's doing weird shit.
Uh-huh.
And there's no tips.
Can't say I'm surprised.
Let's go, let's go, let's go. I just want to keep going. I'll be real with you.
That's good. I want to keep going as well.
Shannon and Cannon stood guard in front of the door to the Golden Lands.
Yeah, they did.
They glared quietly and fearlessly at the Eerie fleet, rather, of the ships across the horizon. Shannon slowly lifted her hands. Cannon raised his right hand and a red blade appeared there.
Stop right there. I forbid you to come any closer.
If you do, I'll kill you. They could see a single dinghy leaving the fleet and approaching them.
I wonder who's aboard it.
They couldn't tell if it was a messenger or the first wave. Shannon and Cannon watched it cautiously. You do me a favor. Can you right-click? Right-click for me.
Uh-huh.
Get new images.
Okay, then.
She has a pirate hat. This was a feature of the PS3 version of the game that they just decided to throw in because fuck it. And obviously...
I completely agree with that decision. This is everything Erika's character needed.
I know, a pirate hat. I agree. Anyway.
I'm very happy with
this. We will
be
shuffling back to old images, but just so you know, that's there if we ever need to see what true beauty looks like.
I'm just gonna like crop out Erika with a pirate hat and just stick it in the bottom right for the entire rest of this video.
So it's
for the entire rest of this video.
That sounds great to me. Okay, well, anyway. At the head of that dinghy, rowed by goats, stood Erika. Where the heck did she get that thing from? Maybe she's trying to act part of the fleet's leader. Erika was glaring at them and smiling aggressively with what appeared to be a pirate hat on her head. I've come to deliver our terms. There will be room for negotiation. Why would you do that? Please open the gates. Shannon and Cannon looked at each other. Erika was the one offering this deal. It wasn't likely to be anything agreeable. However, if they turned her away, the attack would probably begin at once. Since they were in a firmly inferior position, they wanted to buy time by any means they could. At Shannon's nod, Cannon erased his sword. Okay, let's get that out of that.
Yeah, just scribble that off.
Just scribble that off, rub it out with a little eraser there. The Golden Land was filled with a hard downpour accompanied by occasional thunder. Erika, who realized that this weather spoke for their emotions, smiled even more boldly. Oh my god, I'm so ready for this scene. Let's do it! Let's do it! At the center of the Golden Land was the arbor surrounded by the Golden Rose Garden. A large number of humans and illusions were there, arguing about something. Even without asking, it was easy to guess the nature of the debate by their anguished expressions. After all, in this life or death situation, they didn't have many options they could take.
We're just going through everyone, nothing's being said?
No, I mean, they're saying something, we just can't tell, we're not close enough.
Ugh.
In the direction Erika was being led, Beatrice stood waiting, accompanied by the Chiesa Sister Corps. When Erika, accompanied by her goat guards, saw Beatrice, she gave a bow that only appeared graceful. Beatrice followed suit and gave a graceful bow of the sort that was rarely seen from her. I am Beatrice, master of the Golden Land, and the Golden and Endless Witch. Announce yourself. As though implying that she was more than happy to go through with this farce, Beatrice introduced herself boldly and requested that Erika do the same. We have been dispatched from the great witch of theatre-going drama and spectating's noble city of carefully selected books. I am the Witch of Truth, the commander of the library fleet, which is committed to bestowing honor and protection to books. My name is Fruta Erika. It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance. Also, the ships are definitely made out of books. Shall we get down to business?
To defeat
Erika, or the goats. Shit! I missed out on the obvious.
You missed out on the obvious
lyric.
one.
You know what? That's fine. You ought to celebrate. We of the library fleet, dedicated to offering honor and protection to books, you've just said that, have come to bring good news to you all.
I've never heard Ryukishi repeat himself.
I never heard Erika repeat herself. God damn her. Thus, I would like to announce that, after careful selection, the City of Books has acknowledged and accepted the game board created by the Endless Witch Beatrice as a great and honorable book. That is indeed a great honor.
That game board is a profoundly entertaining and original masterpiece worthy of close study. It deserves to be released for all of our subjects to read. And so, the City of Books has ordered us to grant eternal honor and protection to this game board.
This is all quite long and boring. Get to the point.
We demand this game board over to the Honorable City of Books. Doing so will give this board and its pieces the greatest honor and protection imaginable.
In case the audio cut for you as well as it did for us.
Yeah, I definitely heard that.
It did indeed cut for a second there.
What was that?
I don't know.
I didn't do it. And if we refuse?
You will be prosecuted for the crime of monopolizing a great cultural artifact that ought to be shared among all of our subjects. We are here to notify you of the impending assault, one which will be waged by us to protect the benefits that are the rightful property of all subjects, not yours alone.
This is the worst.
I feel like...
Bureaucracy!
Yeah, there are many very stringent political metaphors you can drag through this.
They definitely are. I'm not sure why Delanora isn't fighting this battle, but that's okay. Are you not concerned that the shared property of all subjects might be destroyed in this assault of yours?
According to the Great Library Protective Regulations, when a criminal guilty of monopolization of a cultural artifact raises that objection as you have now done, the executive fleet may prioritize arrest over its protective duties as long as they obtain permission from the Great Court. Of course, we have already obtained the Great Court's written authorization.
I imagine the word arrest is closely followed by dead or alive, am I right?
My, I'm impressed that you can read those tiny letters. Now, enough fooling around. Let's hear your answer.
What do we have to gain by accepting your conditions?
Both of us will be saved a troublesome task. Furthermore, your brave and noble acts will be recorded as a glorious final chapter in the City of Books. You do understand, right? You have no chance of winning. This isn't even a fight. It's just you sitting there at the bottom of a well while people throw stones at you.
So, you claim that I have the power to choose nothing except how the library witches will record my final moments.
The rest depends on you. If you treasure this game board, you ought to surrender. The pieces will be treasured by our many loyal subjects for all time and will be able to continue their roles on into eternity.
In other words, the tragedies I created will or shall repeat forevermore.
How is that any different from what you've been doing so far?
It isn't. Is there anything else? If not, allow me to give you my answer.
Go ahead.
Erika tensed slightly. After all, this was the great Lady Beatrice she was dealing with. She might shout, "Here is my answer," dramatically and do something crazy. They say a cornered rat is the most likely to bite a cat. Furthermore, Erika had intel telling her that the great Lady Lambda Delta, Witch of the Senate, had been spending her time inside the Golden Land, though only as a theatergoer. Erika needed to carry out this noble task that her master had assigned her, and she had to carry it out perfectly. If she was honest, she wanted to make Beata raise a white flag, even by trickery if necessary, so even though this was a farce, she held back from giving any unneeded provocation. She gulped and tried to size Beata up. And then, with a pathetic expression on her face, Beata let out a sigh. I'll be honest, the truth is, I am tired.
What do you mean by that?
My game had already achieved its purpose when my fight with Battle ended, and yet for various reasons the game has repeated several times since then. To be perfectly honest, I am quite tired of it.
To be honest, that isn't the answer I was expecting at all. So, you want to surrender, really?
Simply put, I don't care either way. It doesn't matter whether I surrender or whether we're vanquished by you. I simply wish to have the curtain close on this game, board and tail, regardless of who does the deed. Of course, that was a lie. She knew she couldn't win if she fought. For now, their best option was to play for time. They would fix Erika's attention to this spot, and during that time, Battler and the others would steal the key from Bencastle while she was completely off her guard. Once they had the key, they would return to the Golden Land, use that key to let Anjay open the door to her future and see her off. That was their goal line. Everything that happened after that would be inside the cat box. Anjay would live on into the future with hope. No one would know whether Beata and the others were alive or dead. That was enough. The only strategy Beata and the others could use to achieve this was to buy time.
If you do surrender, it may be a bit of an anticlimax, but it will save me a lot of trouble.
But, well, it is not quite so simple. You see, and this is just between you and me, and nobody else at all. As you may know, the great Lady Lambda Delta is staying here. She is, pushing us to show a dramatic climax, yes.
That's a pretty cruel whim to force on someone. How are a few wimpy people in what's basically an already solved puzzle supposed to fight against our fleet with its hundreds of thousands of troops?
Very true, very true. The gap in strength is overwhelming. We told her that it wouldn't even be a fight, but, well, Lady Lambda Delta didn't listen and just said she would bring some of her friends to support us, so we should fight with everything we had.
Lady Lambda Delta's friends.
Unlike Ben Castle, who kept to herself, Lambda Delta had many friends. Her friends and patrons were either territory lords of great influence who came from all over the place, or else monsters that had become legends in their own lifetimes. In all seriousness, her so-called fan club had enough size and influence that it could have suddenly declared itself a separate country in the Sea of Fragments without anyone being overly surprised.
This is exactly as ridiculous as it needs to be.
Yeah, it's perfect. And this is quite a problem for us with Lady Lambda Delta, all ready for action. Without any regard for us, she keeps calling her friends and acquaintances on the phone from all over the place, telling them to come on over. Of course, this was all a lie. Lambda Delta had turned into a small candy comet and was now shooting towards the City of Books, with Battler and Angie in tow. So, to make sure that Lambda Delta's and Battler's absences were not noticed, everyone was crowded around the arbor, pretending to argue furiously with each other. And this is why...
Battler, someone give us your decision. We, the Seven Sisters of Purgatory, are prepared for death at any time. I firmly oppose taking a last stand that would lead to our deaths. What could possibly be gained by dying?
This is why we won't do anything. How can you be such a coward? It is inconceivable that we should live on in shame as prisoners.
There are times when the mere fact of being alive gives one opportunities.
Yes, indeed. As your temper makes a bad leader. Battler, if you call yourself a man, now's the time to act like one. The great Lambda Delta is even willing to help out, right? I agree. These are the times when a man has to make a tough decision.
In many cases, the timing of a decision is more valuable than the decision itself.
If we surrender, they might not be violent.
You can't be serious. Weren't you supposed to be a male lion? Where are your fangs now? If death awaits us regardless, I would rather die as a wolf than a pig. Are you stupid? Are you saying you want to die like a dog?
It all depends on the strength of the support Lambda Delta San can provide. Leans back towards Erika.
Lambda Delta San, your friend's really strong enough to win against them. It's a bet. We'll either surrender and die or we'll lose a bet and die.
Interesting. In that case, our chances for survival must be high if we take that bet.
An honorable surrender will surely cause the great court to show mercy. They're backed by the Senate, aren't they? Sure. They'll hem and haw, but we'll all see the guillotine in the end.
Anyway, let's all calm down. Cool your heads. I'm opposed to letting our emotions control us.
Why don't you calm down first?
We'll have another possible strategy, mutually assured destruction. We might not be able to win, but if we can convince them that we plan on taking enough of them with us, that might force our opponents to show restraint.
So basically, if they're determined to attack, we let them know we aren't going down without some damage first.
We'll give them hell.
All of Lambda Delta's friends are incredible. She knows lots and lots of witches, beasts, demons, and gods, all of which have really, really huge legends and histories.
And they all hate Erika. They really want to rip into her real bad.
Even if all those ships outnumbered the stars in the sky, Lambda Delta's friends would wipe them out with a single blast.
Will this really work? She hasn't seemed to act yet, has she?
Go to you fucking imbecile.
It is working. You must speak more forcefully as well. Do not worry about politeness.
Enough, you gutless swine. You lack the backbone to finish with a bang.
Hold on! Don't forget that some of us are opposed to fighting. I think we should surrender.
What? Goda, you loser-loving fool!
Ouch, master! It's just an act! Not so loud, Goda.
Well, it looks like the debate has gotten quite heated.
So, will we surrender? Or will we fight back? Which will it be?
Nobody knows!
Personally speaking, I would like to surrender. If my role will end either way, I would prefer that my Game Boy be preserved the way I made it. I could not bear to have Lady Lambda Delta continue to use it however she pleases.
We don't want that either. I came here to fight you, but I'm no match for Lady Lambda Delta's friends that definitely exist. Secretly, Erika was getting worried by these complicated developments.
They probably do, but they're probably at the party.
Yeah, probably, yeah. They're hanging out at the party.
And she was relieved that she hadn't pushed too hard earlier on. She wanted to flatter Beato and end this with a bloodless takeover. Even the great Lady Lambda Delta probably wouldn't seriously think of picking a fight with the Senate. Her motive was probably something more trivial, a simple desire to watch the game board's final fireworks from a front row seat. However, if she really did have some fireworks of her own prepared, it was at least possible that this could turn to a ruckus that Erika would have no chance of quelling. Beato saw all of this going on in Erika's mind, so she continued to act with an even more pathetic expression on her face. Even among witches, her acting ability was top-notch. Might you be willing to lend us some of your strength so that my game board's beauty will be preserved? Truly, it was a great error to invite that busybody as a guest. I understand. I'd like to end this quietly too if I can, so how can we work together?
Did you see the face there? That's great.
It's brilliant.
Everybody rewind about 5 seconds. For some time now, we've been arguing over whether we should surrender or resist. I intend to return to them and propose that we surrender and ask Lady Lambda Delta not to do anything that might destroy the game board.
That would please me very much, so what should I do?
Well, I would like you to guarantee that we have the necessary time to debate the matter. After all, your ships are surrounding and pressuring us at the moment. Everyone is so tense at the thought that we might be attacked at any time that they're falling apart. So if you guarantee that we'll have enough time to discuss this amongst ourselves, everyone will surely be able to keep their composure during that time. Furthermore, I'll have enough time to convince Lady Lambda Delta.
Very well. About how long do you need?
Well, would you be so gracious and avoid giving a specific time limit? If a time limit is imposed, everyone will just fall apart again as the limit nears, possibly leading to a more radical decision.
You have a point there. The most important thing about a fuse is whether it's lit or not. The length of the fuse is a trivial matter.
Oh, in that case, will you give us the time we need?
Of course, but I will come join you and help convince Lambda Delta not to fight.
Let's do it.
Understood. I guarantee that you'll have time to discuss it. However, that time won't be unlimited. I'll wait here and listen in on your discussion.
There it is.
Well, as far as that goes, it is true that your mere presence here has everyone on edge.
I've already made my concessions. Isn't it your turn now?
There was some distance away from the armor, but it was just close enough to give a general idea of what was going on. It was far enough that they just might be able to hide the fact that Battler and Lambda Delta were missing. Just far enough for them to convincingly act like this was a white-hot argument in gridlock. If it were possible, they would rather have kept Erika at an even greater distance. They had planned to set up a seat of honor for their guests at one of the far corners of the garden maze.
Is there some sort of problem?
Oh, okay, don't make such a scary face. In that case, please wait here. This is a confidential conference. Yes, you must come no closer than this line. He draws a line with a... Yeah, of course she does. Beato drew a line in the ground with her foot. Help them see me in a good light. If it's clear that I have obtained a generous agreement from you, that will be a powerful weapon in my hands in the debate.
Could I get a chair?
Yes, of course. Just as you was bringing Lady Erika a chair and umbrella at once, and a hand towel too. I'll wipe it nice and clean for you.
This is so stupid.
It's amazing. Milady, have there been any developments or negotiations? If anything's certain, is that I'll be winning this year's prize for Best Actress.
That's how Beatrice
Ah, yes. All we can do is argue fiercely, squabble amongst ourselves, and make it look like things will turn out for the worst if negotiations break down.
Indeed. This is yet another fight to support Battler's group. Get yourselves ready, everyone. Let's argue and insult with all we have. Got it?
Yes, master! The sight of Gerda, his cheek red and swollen from being pinched, made everyone snort. But they quickly covered their mouths and put fingers to their lips. They're supposed to be hating each other right now. Then everyone nodded at each other and the fake argument resumed. Literally the best fucking scene of the game. Ugh. Erika was sitting in the chair that the Chiesa sisters had brought her, filling a goat in on the details of their discussions. The goats would probably return until the rest of the fleet. The fleet would tell Berncastle, and Berncastle might think of some plan to deal with this situation or give new orders. or realize that it's all a fucking ruse.
Or maybe.
That's right. Until Ben Castle's word gets back here, that's how much time we have, basically.
That's pretty much how much time we have.
Oh, God. The conversation with the goat ended and it spun around. It would return to the dinghy, and report on this to the fleet. Oh, my God. It slipped out from a rose bush and passed through the garden maze, heading towards the door that led outside. Is it really okay to let that goat reach the boats? If it goes back, Erika's report will reach Ben Castle's ears. The Chiesis's spoke through a secret channel that only they could use. 2 seconds now. Won't even be a sound now. But it is just about to leave Erika's sphere of awareness. Estimated 10 seconds before it reaches the goat bump sphere, so assassination can be carried out successfully. Lady Beatrice, your permission to assassinate, if you please. We can do it. Erika will sense nothing. You do not have permission. Did you think an envoy would leave their ship without setting a time limit? The fleet probably has orders to attack if it is in contact within a certain period of time. Let that goat go. 00 understood. The goat passed through the door. Then, after receiving a silent bow from Shannon and Cannon, he got on the dinghy and returned to the fleet. The fleet would probably follow Erika's orders and stand by until an attack order was given. That gave the residents of the Golden Land a chance to assassinate Erika, but of course that wasn't going to be possible, practically speaking. She was Ben Castle's greatest underling and a witch who controlled truth. Tricking her was all they could hope for. Anything else would be overconfident. You think you could trick a witch of truth for very long?
Probably.
Yeah. Why don't you all have a seat too? You need to have no worries about us. Without any hint that she had just been talking about assassinations, 00 stood upright with her hands clasped behind her back. Surrender or resist until the end, the false argument resumed. Just how far and how long would they be able to trick Erika? Yes, the final fight for the Golden Land had already begun.
What an intense fight it is.
Yeah, they're just arguing amongst each other. It's perfect. Battler, you can count on us to handle things here. It's time for you and Anjay to take this final game back. Get on it, nerds.
Hell yeah, dude!
I love that the fucking witch who's been throwing illusions left, right, and center for the entire story is now, like, her job is to lead a fake argument. It's just fucking perfect. That's what she does. That's what she does.
It's one freakishly huge library. I've heard that each one of these books has a tale like ours inside it. After all, this is a world of gods. You can tell at a glance there's no place for scum like you to be in, right?
After passing through the barrier, the three of them had finally made it inside the City of Books. For some time, they were overcome by the countless otherworldly sights before them, but they quickly remembered their original objective.
Are you listening? First off, don't get the wrong idea. You two came here to fight Burn, but that doesn't mean walking up to her and attacking her directly, okay? We know. In the first place, you were only able to fight the Great Beatrice on an even footing because the game board protected you with rules that made it that way. If you leave the game board, you're more like something that'll leave a small stain on her palm when she swats you. Don't forget that, got it? Makes sense. This isn't the game board we're familiar with. Didn't come here to fight. I came here to take something back with us. Exactly. You're here to prevent the Book of Single Truth from being exposed to the public. That's your only goal, your only fight. You better not be confused about that.
Battler and Anjay nodded to show their understanding.
Is it Lambda?
Must be.
The Book of Single Truth itself is being displayed openly in the middle of the party, so stealing that'll be impossible. However, bringing in the key is going to have a big part of the ceremony. Which means the key must be stored in a different place. There's no guarantee it'll be undefended. After that, it's just up to your luck. I hope it's good for your sakes. Hide!
The Delta pulled her head back from around the corner of the bookshelf, but the others hurriedly followed suit. In the distance, they saw emerald green lights floating about and leaving trails. Oh, wonderful. Cat patrols. Don't let them spot you. Distract them with a piece of fish. Get them with the fish.
There's a Burns cat familiar. She got them patrolling all over the place today. Did she guess we would come? No, don't forget how huge this place is. Those are the staff cats just looking for idiot guests who've gotten lost so they can take them to the lost children area. And that's not where we want to go at the moment. If it looks like one's about to find us, should we take them out? I'd advise against it. Maybe if this was some other territory or game board. But this is Burns' home base. That single cat should make you as scared as being surrounded by a crowd of vicious beasts. Plus they're cats. They got good senses and they'll call for their friends. If they spot you, you better be prepared for what happens next. I'm not gonna save you. Just getting you here has been troublesome enough. If I surrender, I might get off the hook with being stripped naked and thrown into the worst sort of crappy fragment just for a century. How wonderful. I think I can sympathize with Bird's feelings a bit now.
Lambda Delta wasn't laughing. Most likely, even this punishment she spoke of was very optimistic. Even though she keeps saying that she won't help anymore, she's already risking everything. Why?
Isn't it obvious?
Lambda Delta brushed her hair back and grinned.
It's because you're gonna show me the perfect happy ending!
Lambda Delta hugged their heads at the same time, making their foreheads bunk together.
I'll say 2 points to Ryukishi for that one.
Yeah, that's fine.
You better show me for certain. Yeah, we'll certainly show you a happy ending. We'll certainly take this cat box back. Let's go, this way, and swim quietly.
The three of them swam out into the darkness of the deep ocean trench that was the City of Books. In that massive, vast trench of bookshelves, they vanished into the darkness almost immediately. The library defied the common sense of the human world. The City of Books. The word city was no exaggeration, and it was filled with the green glowing eyes of Bencastle's countless cat familiars. Trying to count them would be almost as crazy as counting all the fish in the ocean. They formed schools that swam all over the place, on the lookout for any fools who might miraculously have managed to slip in and disturb their master's party. If a battler's group was found, the cats would report it instantly. They would probably form a pack, open their large mouths, and swallow them in a single gulp. There would be no fight. In this place, the battler's party would be swallowed like tiny fishes if they were discovered. The warships surrounding the Golden Land were well more than 100 strong. Each of them had dozens of cannons pointing at the door of the Golden Land. The goats that packed the decks of the ships were numbered in the tens of thousands. Each one of them carried enough anti-magic toxin in their fangs to completely deny one of the game board pieces. This time, they would chew apart and eat away everything. The crowd of goats unleashed their rotten breath and dangling drool. At that time, Erika, who wanted to avoid trouble and hoped Beato would be able to convince Lambda Delta to surrender peacefully, was sitting alone, calmly enjoying the tea Renové had poured for her. Of course, even Erika wasn't planning to give them unlimited time. In her mind, she'd already decided to allow them 3 yawns before stepping in.
This actually isn't so bad. Getting to watch Beato try and convince everyone is to call her a coward and a loser.
Indeed, it is impressive that our short-tempered mistress has managed to become such an adult.
What's so funny?
Oh, pardon me. Are you ready for another cup? Please, feel free to enjoy our collection of great teas from across the globe at your leisure. That smirk though.
Lambda is leading Beato's side into an all-out resistance, and she's gathering her friends. Is this a joke?
The messenger cat shook its head and continued to dispassionately meow its report.
Even Lambda isn't that stupid. She should know what it means to have Ao as her enemy.
Even as she said this, Bencastle was chewing away at her thumbnail.
Despite how she looks, that kid has a lot of strange friends, and they're all the curious, crazy monsters. Even so, to take up arms against the Senate. It was possible. She could think of many monsters among Lambda Delta's friends who would love to see a losing side gain support and make a comeback victory. Before she realized that the finger Bencastle was biting was covered with sweat. She could do it. She really is a moron sometimes, after all. Get me a phone, quickly.
The cat leapt away, then flew back with the phone and receiver.
I'm going to call up her friends. I have to warn them not to get involved in this stupid game. Phone numbers.
Why don't I have any phone numbers saved in here?
Alright, I have no friends. How are you supposed to greet people over the phone? Does hello work?
Meow! Meow! No! Get some friends! Get some goddamn friends! The golden key was being kept in a room inside the City of Books. However, perhaps room wasn't a fitting word to use. It was large enough that you could probably fit 2 domed baseball stadiums in it if you tried. Even so, in this city, these were called rooms. Floating in the center of this vast room were several sacred magic circles. Oh dear. Wrapped around by these magic circles was Andre's gold key. Surrounding these were countless emerald green stars which looked like a slowly revolving planetarium. The eyes that numbered the same as the stars were all glaring in the same direction.
Come on, don't look at me like that. I'm on your side, did you forget?
One of the cat paddled towards Ava, meowing that no one was allowed to enter this room.
Lady Burncaster's ordered me to guard this key, so why don't you leave this to me and get lost?
After looking at each other with suspicious eyes, the cats glared at Ava again, as though saying that they hadn't heard any such order.
By the way, cats are pretty soft buddies, don't they? Makes them much easier to chew.
Get him, Ava! Get him! Ava lifted up her golden staff, and the floor and ceiling of the vast room were covered with red lines. The reaction from the cats was lightning fast. They realized instantly that this was hostile behavior. The entire emerald green constellation writhed and became a single massive deep sea fish, which charged at Ava with its cavernous mouth open wide. However, at the same time, the red lines on the floor and ceiling like massive spiderweb pinched itself together and crushed the fish, twisted it, spun it around and around, and compressed it into the size of a small ball. It fucked. Told you Ava was best girl.
Did you?
Well, human best girl.
I don't remember if you did.
I did, back in episode 1. Then that ball-shaped thing burst open, leaving nothing left. It all happened in an instant.
If only you just give up and die!
Yes! Oh, she only says it when she means it. The witch hunters were holding a convention in the event hall. After all, when Ashumi Ava's diary was opened, the endless cat box would be lost, along with the countless imagined stories that had entertained them for so long. So, this final convention was a time for them to air their best theories one last time. While the opening of the cat box did give them a slightly lonely feeling, they couldn't contain their excitement as intellectual rapists, not when they knew that the Kenjima mystery was finally going to be solved once and for all. If that box were opened, a single girl would be hurt. However, their jaws and fangs couldn't care less. The witch-hunting goat nobles kept licking their lips, wanted to chew apart the guts of Beatrice's cat box as soon as they could.
I want to see Itsuki as a goat.
Seated upon a solemn throne so tall it looked like a pillar, Featherin listened in on the nonsense being spewed from the mouths of the goat nobles. A black cat wearing a cape silently appeared and whispered something into Featherin's ear. No, that is fine. Everything is going according to my plot. You need not inform my Miko. The cat bowed humbly and vanished. Featherin raised her wineglass high and laughed as she looked to it to the light of the chandelier, which was as beautiful and majestic as the moon. This should be enough to thank you for your excellent reading, child of man. Well now, just who is weaving this tale? Am I for you, or are you for me?
What do you think? Trap?
As Battler's group moved forward, darting from bookshelf to bookshelf and avoiding the eyes of the cats, they found something strange. Written with a faintly glowing red substance was a letter and an arrow. K. That's what it looked like to them.
You think K means key? His marks only appeared when we got close, as a message aimed at us.
Ava, best go.
Is there anyone here besides us who'd be willing to help? I didn't think we had any allies.
Anjay traced the red arrow with her finger. It was written with very faint, thin strings that had been tied together. This red stuff which touched your finger and tore away like cotton candy had to be...
Someone on our side. Someone who's always been on my side.
Yay.
How can you be so sure? Yeah, I get it too now. Lambda, we can trust the person who wrote this. Should probably be able to guide us to the key safely.
Oh,
Are you sure? Then let's go. We don't have time to be standing around.
That second guest pass, yo. Where'd it come from?
Thank you, Mom.
It's beautiful. Let's do it, lads. In the arbor, the argument over whether they should surrender or fight continued without signs of stopping. Every now and then, a small fight would break out, which fortunately ended up delaying Erika's third yawn. However, they didn't know how long they would have to continue this fake fight. Keeping this high level of tension going was physically stressful. The instant they tired out and the tension faded, Erika would probably demand a verdict. They had to constantly appear to be trapped and agitated. It was a battle of weariness and tension. This was their fight. It looked like they were arguing. Erika waited patiently. Now that she had tired of tea, she was watching Renove perform some magic tricks, and seemed to be enjoying herself considerably. Even Renove, who was usually aloof from the world, was fighting. If Erika got bored and had a tantrum, an all-out attack would probably begin at once. So he was also putting his life on the line in the fight to buy time for Battler's group. As the fiercest leader in the argument, Beata wore out the quickest. She breathed heavily, and her face was so pale it seemed she might faint at any moment. Beata, hang in there. Your body won't hold out much longer at this rate.
Pretend to suddenly burst into tears and rest for a while. We'll pick up the slack.
Nah, keep going. I am still fine. I can do this. Just one more push. Let's go. So who's up next? Who wants me bitten down first? In that case, I, Goda, am prepared. We must fight. It would be outrageous to accept defeat without fighting. As I've said from the very beginning, fighting with all we have is the only option.
Hold on a second.
Erika suddenly rose from her chair. Renove tried to coax her back into her seat, but Erika's attention was completely focused on those arguing under the arbor.
I am the detective. My memory of what I hear is as good as a recording.
Everyone looks at Goda. We are aware of that, of course. You are quite an excellent detective after all. Turn around.
I'm not interested in you, Goda-san. I have one question for you.
Yes, ma'am! Have I done something to cause offense?
Hold on. Don't forget that some of us are opposed to fighting. I think we should surrender. Those were the first words I heard from you when I arrived here. However, you just said this. We must fight. It would be outrageous to accept defeat without fighting. As I've said from the beginning, fighting with all we have is our only option. That's what you said.
Well, did I say that? It is hardly strange for an opinion to change in the course of a discussion. Indeed! All of us have been feeling doubts about our position lately, so an occasional change of opinion would be...
No. From beginning to end, no one has changed their opinion in this argument. Just now, Goda-san alone flipped his position 180 degrees. Furthermore, I can't imagine that any of the statements made by the rest of you were sufficient to make Goda-san switch his position.
Never mind all of the other things that were said, probably just as loud that Erika's somehow perfect hearing didn't hear.
I mean, she's picked this one out. She's paying attention. She's not being distracted by Renove and his beautiful magic tricks. An uncomfortable, moist wind blew by. Moist. Everyone was silent, frozen, as though time had stopped.
Why did you do that?
It's a weird word. In that
You're a
silence,
weird word.
Thank you. In that silence, Erika continued with a blank expression. Also, I hope the pirate Erika is still down the bottom here.
It probably is.
I hope so.
This can lead us to two conclusions. First, it may be that Goda-san has no opinion, and is just a loser who will say anything that goes with the flow, which is true. Second, it may be that none of you has an opinion, and that this entire argument exists only for its own sake.
Aren't you overthinking this a bit? Here we are in a desperate debate that will decide our fate. I hardly think it's strange that some people would act abnormally under such pressure.
The only reason for prolonging and being this argument is to buy time. Do you have anything to gain by buying time? Is it because Lady Lambda-Dodd's reinforcements will come? That can't be true either. After all, for some time now I've heard all of you speak to Lady Lambda-Delta and Battler occasionally, but not once have I heard them reply. Taking all of this into account, we are left with only one conclusion.
That Lady Lambda-Delta and Battler are not here now. And that these people have won Lady Lambda-Delta's assistance, with Lady Lambda-Delta and Battler probably planning to sneak into the City of Books.
In which case, their goal was probably to steal back the Golden Key and RJ, and your plan was to act as bait and buy time until their mission was complete. But because of Goda-san's single, poorly chosen line, this level of reasoning is possible for Fruta Erika. What do you think, everyone?
With a blank yet ruthless expression, Erika spoke these words and returned to her seat. I'm imagining it like a disappointed teacher this entire time. I hope we're on board with that
I feel like Erika has probably known and has heard the entire time everything that they've said. It was like, let's wait until they slip up.
Let's see how long this can go for.
Yeah.
Everyone else was frozen, unable to move. No one spoke. However, time was moving. As evidence, a bead of sweat dripped down someone's cheek, fell, and hit the table with a tiny yet audible splat. Oh fuck. Get him! Then frozen time shattered, and in the same instant, the white chair Erika had been sitting in broke apart. It's well done, Dominator. This is appropriate. The stakes of the Seven Sisters of Purgatory and the high-velocity rounds of the Chester Sisters Core hit the chair at exactly the same time. And a few moments after that, the Erika sitting in that chair faded and vanished. After image!
She's fast, kill her!
In an instant, Erika had moved to a spot behind the chair. Her expression remained as blank as it had been before. However, there was now something in her hand that hadn't been there. As the 7 lightning strikes of the Seven Sisters raced at her once more, she battered all of them away with her scythe. Let's rape some fools.
That was one hell of a farce. But the tea was good. Thanks for the meal. Well now, it seems that you've all been in agreement since the start. Allow me to ask you for your answer once again.
Erika lifted her left hand, the one that wasn't holding the scythe. Very well, allow me to answer. This golden line belongs to me, to all of us. If you enter with your shoes on, we'll give you a proper welcome. In other words, put it elegantly.
All cannons prepare to fire. Target the Golden Land.
What's your facing me so soup?
Shoot him dead!
Yes, thank you. See you around. Meow. The castle set down the receiver and crossed out yet another name on a list of Lambda Delta's notable friends. Something was wrong. Not a single person she called had heard anything from Lambda Delta. They weren't just plain dumb, they really knew nothing about that strange ruckus Lambda Delta was trying to stir up. Even Ben Castle was starting to suspect that something was fishy. Then a black cat leapt in and meowed a frantic report. Lambda and Battler aren't in the Golden Land. She tore the phone receiver from its stand. The number she dialed was short. It was probably an internal line. However, after listening to it ring several times, she slammed the receiver down again, finally managed to break the phone. Gather all the cats who aren't busy. This is an emergency. The cats I had guarding the key aren't responding. Lambda! Ben Castle, overwhelmed with emotion, kicked the table over. Then the room finally grew bright. It was like green sunlight. A bright green light waved about, giving the illusion that a green sun was rising and lighting the room up. It was a sign that Picasso's army had been given an emergency summons. Come, my kitties! It's time for a witch hunt. That kid always smells like candy, so you'll find her pretty fast. The first cat who finds her gets a human form and a witch's title. What was now an emerald green nebula let out a roar of delight that shook the bookshelf cliff.
Emerald green nebula.
Yeah. It's a nice screensaver you have there.
Thank you. Something's chasing us.
Fucking run!
What is that?
Run, nerds!
A green sun?
Go, go, go!
Hide! They knew!
The three of them frantically hid behind a bookshelf. The room with the key in it was straight ahead. They could see something glinting faintly in the darkness of that room. It was a glint different from anything else they had seen so far in the city. The color of the glint was gold. They had almost reached the golden key. However, if they went towards it, Ben Castle would be right behind them along with her vast swarm of familiars. In other words, they were trapped in a dead end. They already knew that the emerald green color came from the eyes of the familiars. However, it was almost beyond comprehension that this undulating green sun could be the same thing. And they could do nothing except stare in wide-eyed shock. The countless cats were passing through the ravine of bookshelves from the very top to the very bottom. As they approached, they painstakingly checked the gaps between each book. However, even this mind-numbingly huge task was accomplished swiftly thanks to the sheer number of familiars. Oh, wonderful. You're just jamming.
Hell yeah, dude.
With the speed of a gust of wind, they carefully checked every nook and cranny. There was no way to hide from this green sun. They would have been as foolish as trying to hide from water on a sinking ship.
Will we be able to hide until they pass us? Nope, this rate will be found no matter where we go.
Battler was just about to leap out from the shadows, but Lambda Delta grabbed him by the collar an instant before.
Are you thinking of fighting? No, but we'll be found if we just stand here. So we have to move forward. We need to reach the key as soon as possible. You really think there would be cats guarding the key? We'll just be pinched between them. I believe in Aunt Ava. She's the one who guided us this far. I'm sure she took care of the guard cats too. I agree. If we're gonna be found anyway, let's try to get there as fast as possible and grab the key. If we can do that, no one will be able to open the book. So you'll rush in there and grab the key, and then what? That place is a dead end, right? You realize there'll be nowhere to run, don't you?
I know that, but the key will be our trump card. It's vitally important to burn Castle too. Worst comes to worst, we might be able to use the key as a bargaining chip.
Bargain with Burn? You're insane!
Fuck yeah.
If we hide here, we'll definitely be found. In that case, I'll take a bet on that 1,000,000,000 chance. We'll get the key and have that be our trump card.
So you're praying for a miracle to win against the Witch of Miracles?
Makes sense to me.
Picking a winner out of astronomically bad odds? That's the Ashurmi family's magic.
Yeah. Let's use that fucking Ashurmi magic.
Hell yeah, dude!
Oh, this is great.
I've got good eyes. So let me enlighten you. Can you see those magic circles around the golden key? That's a simple barrier, but a pretty strong one. It'll break if you just touch it, but it's the sort of annoying steel that'll take exactly 1 hour to fade whether a great witch or a lonely human does it. It's still over an hour before the ceremony begins. In other words, we won't even be able to touch the key unless we buy time for a whole hour.
When Aunt Ava took out the guard catch, she must have broken the magic circle too. Probably won't take an hour.
As far as I can see, the magic circle is still intact. Sorry to say it, but even if Ava did touch it, it was less than an hour ago.
Well, what's an hour? At least we know we can grab it if we manage to stick around that long. Yeah, sure, let's play tag for an hour. I'm used to getting chased around by thugs.
Oof.
You two really are out of your minds. You really planning to play tag against Burn and all the cats?
There's even a 1% chance. You can be certain we'll grab it.
Oh! The difference in enthusiasm between the siblings who had everything to lose and Lambda Delta was immense. However, Lambda Delta was no coward. She was a great witch of the Senate. If she surrendered, she wouldn't be able to escape severe punishment, but she would be forgiven after a few hundred years. Why would she, after being thrown into a stormy sea while clutching a buoy? It could save only her, decide to throw that buoy away. No living person could be as determined as those siblings, who were already fighting for their lives. No one could blame Lambda.
You two really are stupid, you know that? Oh well. Why don't I tell you about a plan that's got a bit more than 1% chance of working? How does that sound?
The two siblings looked at each other. However, they both thought that any plan would be worth listening to, even if it would only raise their chances by 0.00001%.
A sacrifice! Burn is a cat, she'll chase fleeing prey, but she'll also kill that prey that doesn't flee. And only after toying with it first.
Cats are terrible people. It's true. That is a very
rude,
very accurate
I love
statement.
cats. I have a beautiful black cat, and she's
But cats
munchkin.
are terrible people.
They are bad people. Don't make a cat a person, guys. Don't play Nekopara. Don't do it.
I don't want to know.
You fucking perverts. Anyway, continue.
Still, if that's true, I bet it'll be worth betting on.
Let's have one sacrifice. We'll decide with rock, paper, scissors. Whoever loses has to go taunt Burn, then they get laughed at and killed, all to buy time as much as possible. Does that work for you?
Super papers. No need for rock, paper, scissors. I'll do it. You two go into the key room.
No way, Oni-chan. I'll do it. This is all my responsibility. I was the one who listened to Burncastle and trusted her, so I got a thing or two to say to her.
Both Battler and RJ decided for the sacrifice and wouldn't listen to the other.
See? You need rock, paper, scissors to decide, right? If you don't act quickly, we won't even have a chance to use this plan. They'll be here any moment.
Okay, either Andrew or I will be the sacrifice. Lambda Delta will take whoever's left, steal the key, and take them back to the Golden Land.
I won't let you do it, Oni-chan.
Quit joking around. You gotta let me act like a big brother at least once in a while.
There's no time. Rock, paper, scissors, single round. I'm super paper, so of course we'll start with that. Got it, you two?
Fine.
No regrets, okay?
That was definitely Anjay, then Battler, and then Lambda. 1 point to Rikoshi. Only one.
Only one.
He deserves it though.
3, 2, 1, paper!
It really was a stupid kid's game of rock, paper, scissors. Since they promised to start with paper, this was a chance to make a surprise attack and use something else. However, both Battler and Anjay chose rock. And yet it wasn't a tie. Because in addition to those two rocks, was one person who chose scissors. After staring stupidly at their fists and those scissors, they looked at her.
Oh, dang. We were supposed to start with paper, so I figured I'd use scissors and beat you both. I guess paper should have stuck with paper.
There had been no reason for Lambda Delta to join in on the game. This wasn't the time for a joke like that. Battler and Anjay, each trying to lose, chose rock. Lambda Delta alone chose scissors.
Don't tell me you intentionally.
If you die, we can't even get back to the Golden Land. Doesn't count.
Nah, you'll figure it out.
Well then, you can just use this.
When Lambda Delta made a clenched fist, a palely growing fragment appeared there and she gave it to the pair of them. Battler had seen one of these before. It was a magic fragment, like the one Erika had used before disappearing, which would allow one to cross the sea of fragments.
With that, you'll be able to return to the Golden Line. And anyway, I'm the best person for the job. You two probably wouldn't last a handful of seconds against Burn. If it's me, not only will an hour be no problem, but who knows? I might even win, and I owe her one. I gotta make this my victory, and even the score. Still, away games are such a pain.
Lambda Delta pretended to complain as she stood up straight.
Anyway, see you in a bit. I guess a show-off like me couldn't stick to being a spectator after all. Sorry for stealing your time to shine. It's sad I won't be able to watch your game until the end, but I've already been shown the script, so I'm not missing anything. Lambda.
Then, with her broadest smile and a wink.
This is your happy ending. I've already figured out what happens next, so there's no need to watch. I'll see the two of you again. In the credit roll of your happy ending, that is.
Wait.
Lambda Delta snapped her fingers, and the two of them turned into Conpeto candies. She picked them up, took aim at the glint of the golden key, and flicked them away.
Take this, bitches!
That way, they should be able to reach the key without Castle noticing. Dang, what terrible luck. What are the odds of them both playing a rock?
What are the odds of them both playing a rock against my scissors? Probably like... Yeah, I know. It wasn't nice of me to test you like that. Sorry, you two.
What were the odds? And then Lambda Delta's body was lit up by an emerald green light. When she turned around, the cat's eyes and Lambda Delta's met. Lambda Delta grinned and waved. There was a fierce roar and several bright flashes. What in the... Huh?
I think she really went all out on the effects budget here.
Fuck yeah, he did. A chain of explosions flashed by, one after another, enveloping Ben Castle and a pack of familiars in an instant. There were multicolored fireworks, or rather, multicolored candy that burst with a flash and scattered everywhere. Countless stick candies, sugar sculptures, cookies, and tarts flew in every direction, and each one of those split and exploded into hundreds of candies, each of which exploded again into a cloud of conpeto.
What the fuck is this?
However, these sweets weren't sweet. The conpeto was heavier than lead, harder than steel, and sharper than any blade. As the colorful cloud exploded outward, it blasted the entire pack of cats into little bits. The emerald green lights were scattered everywhere and sparkled like the night sky. And among them danced a cloud of pretty candies that looked like they'd go well on a Christmas tree. It was sufficiently outrageous in a beautiful and cute and pop way to mark the great witch Lady Lambda Delta's appearance on the scene.
I agree.
It's Lady Lambda Delta's time to shine, ladies and gentlemen. Let's do it. Oh, if it isn't Lambda. I was hoping to meet you in the party hall.
I love you, Burn. Isn't whispering of our love all the better if we're alone?
Oh, I'll be happy to hear it after I've plucked off all your limbs. With a jerk of her chin, Burn ordered her familiars to attack. This is my dearly beloved and my only friend in the world. Her arms from the elbow down, her legs from the knees down. You can choose those up however you please, but not a scratch anywhere else on her. The crowd of cats undulated again, reformed into a single mass, and became the emerald green leviathan that would swallow up any poor victims who snuck into the city of books. It was shaped like an impossibly vast whale. However, would it look like a whale from Lambda's perspective? She probably couldn't see anything except an immense mouth, about to swallow up everything.
Ah, simply wonderful. I'm about to be overwhelmed by Burn's love, aren't I?
I do love you, Lambda. Once your limbs are gone, I'll skewer you through your butt and hang you by my bed. Every morning I'll give you a good morning kiss, and every evening I'll kiss you good night.
Sounds great. And I better wrap you up in my love too.
However, Lambda Delta's war cry was swallowed up by the glowing, writhing leviathan in a single bite. Yes, you are wonderful, Lambda. I love that empty-headed way you just do things without looking ahead or worrying about your own life. Ah, wind. The same instant that Lambda Delta was swallowed and Ben Castle was sure of her victory, the latter felt a slight breeze playing with her hair. The countless sweets that Lambda Delta had sent flying like fireworks, and which drifted about like the decorations at a Christmas party, were flowing. No, they were converging on a single point.
What is this nonsense?
It was like watching a firework run backwards. Countless sweets rapidly contracted around the vast closed mouth of the Leviathan. This is what happens when Voyagers fight. A gigantic reversed explosion concentrated on a point inside it.
I feel like there's a word for that.
Maybe. Or perhaps it was more like countless candies showering the Leviathan from all directions like bullets. Inside that massive green was a black swirl. That swirl was on a palm, on the palm of Lambda Delta, who wore a defiant smile. It was a massive supergravity. All of the sweets, the cats, the whale, and everything else was being sucked into that one point and crunched. Oh, yep, this is Umineko. It's a murder mystery, right?
A murder mystery!
I'll hold you tight. Get over here, Burn.
You're trying to suck me in. All of the candies Lambda Delta had scattered were getting sucked back into the black hole in her palm at unbelievable speeds. The reverse explosion of the oncoming candy whizzed away at the Leviathan, crushing it inwards. Lambda!
Come on, let me give you a hug.
With all her strength, Bencastle held her ground in midair, trying to resist this supergravity. For the first time, all trace of condescension had left her face. Even Lambda Delta's cocky expression was marred by the sweat trailing from her forehead. Because their power was so overwhelming, any victory would have to be instantaneous. If either relaxed in the slightest, they would match each other's strengths and get dragged into another dizzyingly long fight that could last for centuries. Neither of them had any desire to go through that again. So, neither of them showed the slightest mercy for their most beloved friend. By now, the Leviathan had been completely crushed and compressed inside the black hole. Bencastle was the only one still holding her ground. However, a windstorm of candy asteroids like the asteroid belt repeatedly slammed into Bencastle, wearing away at her girl's form, bit by bit. I've got to get away or I'll really... The thing flying into Bencastle's range of vision was a comet, building straight for her with a massive present box at its core and a cloud of candy surrounding it. I want this animated so badly. Lambda! Oh! My body! The candy comet wiped out Bencastle along with her scream. It burst in little bits, and within a blink of an eye, it was sucked back into a hole of supergravity. Once it was all gathered into one place like a gem, it began to spin rapidly. It was flattened by the centrifugal force, turned into something whose shape resembled a galaxy. After swallowing all the cats and their master, it now looked like a wiggling, flickering emerald green galaxy that floated just above Lambda Delta's palm. The pocket of supergravity kept compressing it further and further, until at the very end, it had become a single green, shining completo. Then it fell down onto her outstretched palm. Do it. Do it, Lambda. Do it.
This is absurd.
Sorry, Ben. I wanted to play with you always, so I've always taken it easy and pretended to be in a pinch.
Lambda Delta held the completo above her head and peered at it.
But the truth is, I'm just impossibly strong. Sorry about that.
Then, she pressed the completo to her pink lips, gave it a light kiss, and bit down.
This doesn't taste like burn.
Lambda Delta licked her fingertips, then turned to face the empty air behind her. I have so many questions. I already knew, my beloved Lambda.
I love you, Burn.
Liar, I knew that you never took me seriously.
In that case, let's love each other for real. Both of us seriously.
Ah, I do love you, Lambda Delta. I'm happy. So happy.
I do love you, Burncastle. I'll turn you into a candy and cuddle you with my tongue forever.
No matter who wins, our love will never fade. That's wonderful, just wonderful.
Okay, let's love each other right now.
Love fight! With a crash, crack lines appeared across the sky of the Golden Land. You know, it's even raining IRLs, it's perfect.
I know.
It's about to start storming. Then finally, the barrier of the Golden Land was breached by the fleet's assault. It was a bizarre scene, more ridiculous than anything anyone had imagined.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree. The sky of the Golden Land shattered like glass, and a fleet of sailboats flew in one after the other. They were crowded with goats pushing each other and spilling off the sides. This is episode 8, guys.
So ridiculous.
It's so good.
Come, let us begin. This is the Golden Land's final banquets.
Banquets. It wasn't some fancy metaphor, but a simple statement of fact. The overwhelming surge of goat troops came in like a tsunami. The residents of the Golden Land who stood defiantly were like a forgotten sandcastle on a beach. A fight between a wave and a sandcastle is not a fight. It was a banquet for the oncoming Vikings at a stand-up meal. The voracious, merciless goats. Natsu's got a gun! It's Natsu's big fucking rifle!
Right back to the start.
Oh, there's no way around it. Wow!
Good! Come, goats, bring destruction to all that has form, sinners to all that moves, despair to all who live!
All those who could use magic fired it off at once. With a shout like a thunderclap, the goat tsunami rushed forward. Everything collided at once, and there was a brilliant and terrible explosion. Sparks and smoke, flying splinters and screams. For just an instant, that fierce magical cannonballs fired by Beato, Vigilia, and the Chiesa Sisters Corps seemed to halt the goat tsunami in its tracks. Someone animate this, please. Holy crap.
If only they'd made an anime for this.
If only, sadly they never did. They only made an OP and then they didn't make an anime. However, their numbers were so great that they didn't even flinch. The goat wave continued to walk over the corpses that had been blasted away or which had fallen to their knees in weariness. The mound of corpses piled up and still more goats were shot down as they tried to cross it. So that, in a few seconds, it really was tall enough to be a tsunami.
Pitiful! This Golden Land you built is nothing more than a sandcastle some kid lives on a beach! Be swallowed up and disappear!
Perhaps you should liken it to ripples beating meaninglessly against a wharf. A sandcastle getting swallowed by a wave? Just you try swallowing my castle! You bitch! Get him!
Towers!
Get him, shoulder towers! Bearja lifted her hands, telling the pair of battle towers that had been hidden deep in the ground that the day of glory had come again. The goat tsunami looked up at it in shock. After all, this time the tsunami that towered over everything wasn't them. Vah! A thunderstorm of rapid-fire ballista rounds leapt from the battle tower gun ports. The ghosts let out a confused scream at the furious tempest that was bearing down upon them. However, they saw something else too. Smothered mates.
It's been a while.
Hey, how you doing? In the sky, high above the tower, was a reaper astride a divine horse and backdropped by the moon. A massive spear the size of a tower in its hand.
I will say it's quite fitting that they're like, it's a banquet, and then episode 3.
The ship from banquet? Yeah, it comes back. I love it. The great witch sitting on the horse by the reaper spoke. Welcome back. This world does not belong to you. Do it, teacher! Ah! The heavenly spear pierced the ground. For an instant, it looked like some divine towers sticking out of the ground. However, that was the very last thing those eyes ever saw. That sacred spear was the embodiment of heaven's wrath, and the strength to bury an unclean city in a single stroke was unleashed upon the pack of goats. With a massive explosion that resembled a volcanic eruption, goats were sent flying all over the place.
Shout out to the actual legit thunder happening right now.
Yup, it's very appropriate. Here come the guns.
Not bad. I guess they really are witches. But is it enough?
The enemies keep on coming. It looks like we'll be the ones on up after all. At least you two seem to be enjoying yourselves.
How could one fail to enjoy such a festival?
Yes!
It seems our time in the limelight should not be stolen from us after all.
Yes! Looks like it. I'm all fired up. Let's go, bitches. Yes. The crowd of goats truly was like a wave pressing in from the sea. You might be able to split a ripple on the beach with your feet, but you can't split the sea. Witches could. However, that meant the other side also had someone who could split seas. Suddenly, smoke poured from one of the two towers, and the ground shook as it crumbled. Oh god. Here we go! Action sequence time.
What the hell happened? Over there, on top of the other tower.
Erika! But of course, it is your turn now, is it not? At the top of the other battle tower, Erika stood gracefully wielding her scythe.
I'd say that's enough to show the witches of the Golden Land proper respect. All magic is fake. It's just a fantasy sandcastle that'll always vanish when mystery swallows it up. Playing witches was pretty fun though. I think I remember playing something like this with some older girls from the neighborhood when I was younger. So let's bring this to an end. Now it's time to hear you scream.
Erika threw that pretentious pirate hat she'd been wearing this whole time into the sky. No! With the moon behind it,
I guess I'll take it off screen then.
Rip. Erika's form, her after image, vanished from the tower's peak. Where is she? We have her on radar. She's on the side of the tower. Shaking with a wild, joyous laughter, Erika dashed straight down the tower. She swung her scythe like a baton, and as she passed along the tower's wall, its gun ports, walls, pillars, and everything else was crushed, leaving a trail of smoke. So, from the sidelines, it looked as though a line of smoke suddenly split the tower from top to bottom. The golden arrows of the Chiesa Sisters Corps chased after Erika like golden threads in a sewing machine. You monster! Get yourself sewed and embroidered now! Good! Even the golden arrows couldn't catch up with Erika. Finally, Erika reached the bottom of the battle tower, and empty cartridges were ejected from the golden bows. Burst, useless tower! Isn't that the phrase? Erika, who had now landed on the ground, slowly stood up and tapped the tower behind her with the handle of her scythe. Bonk. Rip. This is another tower. There's 2 towers, right?
I don't know.
Or did she just destroy both of them? You know, I'm not
know.
actually sure. That tiny tap cut the final string that held the tower together, and the whole thing fell in on itself with an earth-shattering crash. Once again, the dark tsunami rumbled forward through the rubble and smoke. I am through to Erika, Witch of Truth. This moment marks the dismantling of the Golden Land by the truth. Dust to dust, illusions to illusions. I'll end your daydream for you. Come, try to remember ghosts. Remember how you died so long ago.
Says the one who literally disappeared without a trace.
Oh yes, she's using magic, absolutely. The goat tsunami swallowed everything up. When she saw them sink under the black sea of goats, Erika guffawed from atop the debris of the tower. She's having fun.
Uh-huh.
Come on now, kill them, massacre them all! Cut off all their heads and stick them on spears! Ghost of 1986, the time has come for the whirlpool of truth to swallow you whole and erase you so long! Chapter end.
Woo!
Erika. Best girl. I don't have anything to say about that chapter.
Neither.
You guys can all make your own interpretations. Let me know how you're doing solving the mystery of this episode.
All of the mystery.
All of the mystery that's occurring here.